So today we're going to be learning how to identify conic sections. So for this, you would need a formula, which is ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus 4 equals 0. So for this, you would need a set of rules to follow. So to determine whether a conic section is parabola, a and c would have to be multiplied, and it would have to equal 0. For a hyperbola, a times c would have to be less than 0. For the ellipse, a times c would have to be greater than 0. And lastly, for the circle, a would have to be equal to c. So if you look on page 11, going to example 2, we can try example 2b. So, write this down. So the conic section is 5x squared plus 8xy minus 2y squared plus 4x minus 3y plus 10 equals 0. So to determine whether this conic section is a parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, or circle, we would have to go through the rules. So let's first identify A and C. So you found A and C. So let's go through these set of rules to determine whether it is a parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, or a circle. So first, the parabola is A, which is 5, multiplied by C, which is -2. It would have to equal 0, but in this case, it equals -10. So this would therefore not be a parabola. So for the hyperbola, A times C would have to be less than 0. So basically, when you multiply A and C, it indeed is less than 0 because it is -10. So that is a hyperbola. But we're going to keep going by, or continuing, and just going through the whole process. So the ellipse, A times C would have to be greater than 0, but in this case it would not be, because when you multiply A and C, you get -10. And then lastly, for the circle, it would have to be equal to C, and as you can tell, they are not equal. Okay, so a next example we could try would be 2f. So let me write this down. So it would be 25x squared plus 100x minus 54y equals -200. So first off, you can tell that this is not equal, or not similar to the formula, basically. So what we'd have to do is we would have to add 200 to each side in order for it to look like the formula shown. So it would be 25x squared plus 100x minus 54y plus 200 equals 0. Now we can identify this conic section. So going through the rules again, the parabola A times C would have to equal 0. So A would be 25, but in this conic section, there is no C. So C would be 0. So when you multiply A and C, 25 times 0, it would equal 0. So in this case, this is indeed a parabola. 0 will equal 0. We're gonna keep going though, just so we can get the gist of this. So to determine if it's parabola, A and C would be multiplied together. And as you can tell from here, A and C is multiplied together and it equals 0. So next we're looking for the hyperbola. So A times C has to be less than 0. So we did A times C over here, which is equal to 0. So 0, it's saying that 0 is less than 0, which is not right. So this would not be a hyperbola. Next, the ellipse. So A times C over here, which is 0, has to be greater than 0. This is wrong as well. So this would not be an ellipse. Lastly, A has to be equal to C. So we know that A is 25, right? 25, and C is 0. So this would be like this. So this is not a true statement. So it is not hyperbola, ellipse, or circle. It is indeed a parabola.